Have you ever actually thought about the real biological cost of losing just one single hour of sleep? I mean, every year when daylight saving time rolls around and we spring our clocks forward, we kind of just brush off that lost hour with an extra cup of coffee, right? But what if I told you that skipping out on sleep isn't just making you groggy, it's actively shutting down a vital microscopic cleaning process right inside your head?
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going on a really fascinating journey. We're going to start big, looking at the macroscopic, real-world dangers of drowsy driving on our highways. And then, we're going to shrink all the way down to the cellular level to uncover the brain's hidden dishwasher. Because, as you'll see, those two things are incredibly connected.
Here's a quick roadmap of where we're headed today. We'll cover the dangers of lost sleep, venture inside the brain's dishwasher, uncover the Alzheimer's connection, discuss a dangerous bidirectional loop, and finally, wrap up with some optimizing brain clearance techniques.
Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, the dangers of lost sleep. We really need to look at the immediate, real-world consequences on our daily safety.
Consider this absolutely shocking number, 0.10%. According to the New York DMV and the Governor's Highway Safety Association, staying awake for 24 hours straight impairs your driving ability just as much as having a blood alcohol concentration of 0.10%. To put that into perspective, that is literally above the legal limit for drunk driving. When we lose sleep, our judgment tanks, our reaction time slows way down, and we become super vulnerable to what experts call microsleeps. These are short, completely involuntary periods of total inattention.
And that level of impairment, it has devastating macro-scale consequences. 328,000, that's the estimated number of crashes nationwide every single year that drowsy driving contributes to. Just think about that. A few seconds with your eyes off the road at highway speeds can have tragic, life-altering consequences.
Knowing who is most at risk here is absolutely crucial. Young drivers, specifically those between the ages of 18 and 29, are involved in more than half of these crashes. We also see a tremendous amount of risk among commercial motor vehicle drivers, folks who are pushing through incredibly long hours to transport goods, and of course, night shift workers and new parents. But it begs the question, why exactly does our brain just shut down and force these microsleeps upon us? What is it so desperately trying to accomplish?
Well, let's move to Section 2, inside the brain's dishwasher, and zoom in to the microscopic level to see exactly what is happening inside a sleeping brain.
Enter the glymphatic system. This is a vital biological plumbing network right inside your head. You see, all day long, as your brain cells consume energy to help you think, feel, and move, they generate metabolic waste. It's totally normal, but if that waste builds up, it becomes highly toxic. So the glymphatic system uses cerebral spinal fluid to flush out this debris. But here is the catch, and it's a big one. It primarily springs into action when we lose consciousness. Sleep isn't just downtime, it is a highly active cleaning cycle.
I absolutely love this analogy from Dr. Li-Fang Chia, a brilliant neurobiologist at WashU Medicine. She says, we think the brain cleaning process is similar to washing dishes, a large, slow, rhythmic wiping motion to remove particularly sticky food waste. During sleep, your individual nerve cells actually coordinate to fire electrical signals in rhythmic waves. These neurons act like tiny little miniature pumps, propelling fluid through dense brain tissue to literally scrub it clean.
Here is how this incredible biological sequence actually unfolds. First, we enter slow-wave sleep. That's that deep, truly restorative phase of our night. When this happens, something mind-blowing occurs physically inside your head. The extracellular space, literally the physical space between your brain cells, expands by up to 60%. This dramatically drops the resistance in your brain, allowing all that cerebral spinal fluid to just rush right in and wash away the day's toxic debris.
Which brings us to our third section, the Alzheimer's connection. Because we have to ask, what happens when this delicate internal dishwasher breaks down over the long haul?
To really understand this, we need to talk about proteostasis. Think of this as the cellular process that maintains the perfect balance of creating, folding, and destroying proteins. A healthy brain is constantly balancing this scale. But when proteostasis fails, which happens very often due to chronic sleep dysfunction, it leads to the buildup of misfolded, highly toxic proteins. And two of the most notorious ones you've probably heard of are amyloid beta and tau.
Recent biomedical research highlights a really stark physiological link between your sleep flow and neurodegenerative risk. When we just don't get enough of that deep, slow-wave sleep, our glymphatic clearance simply drops, and those toxic proteins, the amyloid beta plaques and tau tangles, they start to pile up. These are the classic defining hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease and other serious neurodegenerative conditions.
And the speed at which this happens is honestly staggering. Studies show that just one single night of unrestricted, really healthy sleep can result in a 6% decrease in amyloid beta amounts in the brain. But flip that scenario around. Just one night of sleep deprivation can trigger a massive 17% increase in toxic tau levels in the blood. A single night makes a highly measurable biological difference.
Let's transition to our fourth section, a dangerous bidirectional loop. This reveals perhaps the most alarming catch-22 that neuroscientists have discovered regarding cognitive decline. It's a vicious bidirectional loop. As we just learned, a lack of sleep causes amyloid beta to build up because the brain's dishwasher can't turn on. But here's the truly terrifying part. Research shows that the accumulation of amyloid beta actually damages the specific neural pathways that are required to generate slow-wave sleep in the first place. So poor sleep creates toxic plaques, and those very plaques destroy the brain's ability to generate the deep sleep needed to clear them out. It completely feeds on itself.
When it comes to the risk of cognitive decline mapped against sleep duration, the data forms a really fascinating inverted U shape. As you might totally expect, short sleep, getting less than 6 hours, spikes your risk for cognitive impairment. But surprisingly, extended sleep, spending more than 9 hours in bed, is also associated with a higher incidence of dementia. Researchers believe excessive time in bed might actually be a prodromal feature. Basically, it's an early warning sign that Alzheimer's pathology is already disrupting the brain's normal rest activity rhythms. Optimal sleep sits right there in the sweet spot around that 7-hour mark.
Finally, let's zoom back out and move to Section 5, Optimizing Brain Clearance. What actionable, real-world steps can we actually take to protect our internal plumbing?
Well, here are some incredible science-backed interventions you can start implementing today. First up, your sleeping position actually matters. Good news for the side sleepers out there. Rodent studies show that a lateral position actually increases glymphatic clearance compared to sleeping flat on your back or stomach. Second, researchers are currently exploring acoustic slow oscillation stimulation. This involves playing specific low-frequency sounds during sleep to really boost those deep brainwaves. Third, managing conditions like sleep apnea is absolutely critical to prevent sleep fragmentation. And lastly, maintaining your cardiovascular health. The rhythmic pulsing of your arteries literally helps pump the cerebral spinal fluid right through your brain. A healthy heart quite literally supports a clean brain.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative question for you to ponder. Are you getting enough slow-wave sleep to clean your brain tonight? We've seen how losing just one single hour can impact everything from your safety behind the wheel today all the way to your neurological survival decades from now. Your brain's dishwasher is ready and waiting to run, but you're the one who has to give it the time and the deep sleep it requires to do its job. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you all get a deeply restorative, brain-cleaning night of sleep.